Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Synsei Inc. And today I'm here with a very special guest. Yo, we got Ohara in the building. What's going on, bro?
How's it going? Thanks for having me back.
Of course. I'm excited because the other times we've collabed, we have done like group collabs, but we finally get to have like a one-on-one conversation for a video. So pretty excited to have you on and pick your brain about some One Piece.
Please do. I'm excited as well. See what you got.
Of course. So today, of course, Ohara's coming directly live from Morge's basement. Morge was so luckily, graciously let Ohara come on to the video today. So we appreciate Morge for that. Shout out to Morge.
Yeah, shout out to Morge. I still at least I have internet here, which is great.
That's all, as long as he feeds you and you have internet, I feel like, it's cool.
That's what matters.
But
at least that's what he's making me say, at least.
Yeah.
Like he's holding up signs as like everything's fine.
Yeah. Comment down below, Ohara, if you need help. All right. But so today we're gonna talk about, of course, what everyone's been talking about with the recent chapters coming out, 10:18 to 19. Stuff revolving around Who's Who and Jinbei's altercation and their dialogue. Who's Who asking Jinbei about Sun God Nika because Jinbei was in the Sun Pirates, also revealing to us, his frustrations with Luffy, mad at him because he's the one that has the fruits that he was supposed to protect that Shanks ended up stealing and got him thrown in prison because of. So now he's upset because Luffy's wearing the straw hat, and I guess in a way he's projecting his frustrations with Shanks onto Luffy, which I feel like is unfair, right? Like, well, Luffy doesn't have any. He was a kid. He doesn't know, but there's no rules in piracy, so it is what it is. But yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today. So I guess my first question for you, Ohara, is what was just your overall thoughts on 10:18 and 10:19?
Right. I think like in general, most people would agree that it was like really, really mind-blowing chapters overall. I don't know. There's like so much to talk about. Like, first of all, probably mostly unrelated to most of what we're going to talk about, but like I really enjoyed like just the fighting sequence. Like Jinbei. Sure. I don't know. It's like something. I don't know. It's like every Straw Hat gets like one chapter to like show what they actually can do. Like that's something I think at least I've been waiting for forever. So like now that we seem to be getting those one-on-ones, like I'm super happy about that. And like Jinbei was probably a really, really cool pick to start with that. I mean, Zoro already had some action, and I do have the hope that now we're gonna get more for everyone else as well. We had like Usopp and Nami, right? We had Chopper, if I remember correctly. So there's like Robin is still missing, Brooke's still missing. So there's still like a bunch of people out there who we need to see more of.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Frankie probably going to be next chapter or something, right? That was like a bit hinted at. So yeah, I'm super on board with that. Like I feel like that was what made the chapter even better overall. Like not only were the informations in it really, really,
but just kind of the also, pace and direction of what's going on.
Yeah, and like the battle itself was just dope. Yeah. I mean, there's been so much discussion about Jinbei and like all the power scaling around it, but like he's buff. Like he's definitely has his place in the crew, I think. So
he definitely is getting respect too, even from the CP0, the leader, having that discussion, making that comment about Who's Who. Like, man, we might not even have to worry about Who's Who. He's fighting Jinbei, so even them kind of acknowledging Jinbei's strength and respecting him in a way. So I do agree with you. Besides the lore that we got and information about the Gomu fruit and things like that, I think just the Jinbei Who's Who altercation, the way the fight went was awesome as well. How did you feel about and this is something that I think I might do a solo video on, but how do you feel about the kind of racial undertones that Oda was taking here with the Fishman and Who's Who, the little comment that Who's Who made? I really like that Oda is kind of taking a look at and speaking on kind of indirectly like a bigger sub theme, like talking about the discrepancies between the fishermen and the world above, and them being underwater and kind of being separated from human beings and things like that. Are you interested in that direction Oda's going?
Oh, for sure. I mean, I think personally, I'm not sure if we two ever talked about it, but personally, I think the entire racism thing that Oda's going within the story for me is like one of the big themes in One Piece. And for me, like, which makes it in retrospect so sad that like Fishman Island was as badly executed in some ways when it happened as it was, because it's one of the most important arcs in that respect, right? Because we get so much history for the fishermen, and like it's such a big plot point for why what Luffy's doing actually matters. We get like this behind the scenes view at like how humans discriminate against the other races, which was something that was just like a bit hinted at, but that was like the arc where this basically became the main goal, right? It's like some humans are oppressing other humans, and then on top of that, like all the other races get oppressed as well, and that's why Luffy needs to free or like change society overall or change the world. And like that's what made that arc so significant. And it was kind of sad at that point, Fishman, I'm not sure about you, but like for me, while it was happening, Fishman Island was kind of like very meh.
Yeah.
And then like in retrospect, it became really, really cool because like a lot of things were built up that happened later on, but like as it was happening, it was kind of like
yeah, man.
I'm not sure if
I remember reading it, Ohara, and I'm coming off of, and I binged One Piece very quickly when I started it. I think once I got past Alabasta, I think at that point it took me about, I'd say 2 weeks to get past Alabasta. At that point, it took me like another 2 weeks to finish the entire series. Like I was like so just smitten with it at that point. Right. And I remember coming off the high of, you know, Impel Down, Marineford, Sabaody, like all of these super fire arcs. And then not saying that Fishman Island is terrible, it's just in comparison, like you said, to some of the other arcs that I feel like were better executed, it was at times. So going into it, binging as fast as I can, I just remember thinking kind of similar to you, like, man, you know, I feel like I get where Oda's trying to go with this and what he's trying to use Hody to do and what Hody is supposed to depict. Because Hody to me was not meant to be a super deep antagonist in the sense of a personalized character, but more so of an overall theme of the hatred for fishmen to human beings. I feel like that's what a lot of us have come to a consensus on when it comes to Hody. And I feel like I understood where Oda was going, but like I said, I wish that it was executed a lot better. But I do agree with you, and like you said, in retrospect and looking at it in hindsight, it's like, man, looking at what
in retrospect, it's a fantastic,
it's awesome. You know what I mean? So I agree with you there.
But yeah, as you said, it's like, as you said, it's not even necessarily like it's not unwatchable. Like the Sanji thing was obviously like one of these things that kind of gave it like a bit of a bitter taste to it. Yeah. But in general, it's like I just feel like for what was in the arc, I feel like there was like a lot more potential for it to be a really big thing. But then I think Oda also wanted to go with like the Straw Hats are not super powerful, and you know, like we came out of this very heavy arc with Ace dying, basically the low point of Luffy's arc, right? The high point of Blackbeard. And then we basically go like, okay, no, this is like 2 years have passed, things are light again. You know, it's like, so I feel like he tried to like do too many things at the same time.
I was just about to ask you that. I was going to ask, Ohara, did you think that maybe he was trying to do one too many things at once and it just kind of got translated poorly because of that?
Yeah, I honestly wonder if Fishman Island might have like not been placed better. I mean, obviously, like location wise, right? It was the next place to go. Yeah, for sure. I just feel like if we had like at least like a little arc, a mini arc before where he could already have shown like, oh yeah, the Straw Hats are powerful now, and you know, everyone's back together, and like, you know, like basically if you had switched Punk Hazard and Fishman Island in some way or form, I feel like that would have maybe made more sense.
What if he like and Return to Sabaody, do you think that maybe that he could have extended that a little bit? Like maybe,
for example, sure. Like maybe gave it like a mini villain or something.
Yeah, something like that to like, cause we got them, you know, we got to see them flex on the fake Straw Hats, flex on the pacifistas who gave them trouble previously. But I feel like Oda just wanted to take it another step further in Fishman Island and really show, you know, everything all without holding all the stops. But I feel like I agree with you. Maybe if they extended Return to the Sabaody archipelago a little bit, maybe gave it another like 10 chapters and like gave them like a little mini antagonist or something, someone maybe we've seen before in the story that they had trouble with, or maybe even a new person that they could, you know, would have had trouble with previously. to really show off their power there. I think that would have been good. And then maybe they could have focused more on that, you know, underlying theme in Fishman Island. I agree.
Exactly. But yeah, in general, like going back to your original question. So as I said, like this is basically, you know, one of the big themes in One Piece. And so like that it's coming up now again in this context of like, you know, Nika and the ancient kingdom and, you know, the history of the fishermen, I think is really interesting. Like for me, it just cements the idea, which was already kind of obvious, that like slavery and in general, like injustice is a big part of the story. So that like just cements it even more, I feel like, and connects this even nicer. And then obviously like what's probably intriguing is like, okay, how much does Jinbei or how much do the fishermen actually know about this legend and so on and so forth?
Yeah, because when he asked Jinbei, it did seem like maybe he knew something, right? Or like, maybe I don't know if that's what you got, but it looked like it was like a look of like, it was just a look of like it did make him nudge, like it nudged him a bit, like you've heard of it. Maybe
it's really hard to say. It's really hard to say what like if Jinbei gets pissed off because of the story, because he's like, no, this is like personal to us, or is it like because to me personally, I feel like the comments would be enough already to piss him off. So I'm not sure. It's really hard to say like if the Nika thing plays an additional role, if it's like, oh, you're making fun of my people, plus, you know, asking me for like one of the legends we hold dear, or it might just be like he doesn't know a lot about it, but like he just got mad at the comment,
because he did seem taken back by that. He's like, man, he basically just said the equivalent of, hey, it's 2021. Are you still saying that? Like that's kind of how he came off. Like it was funny in a way, like especially how they worded it in the viz. It was like. It was a little odd.
It's kind of like a meta commentary.
Yeah, for sure. I guess a good question to go along with all of this is, do you think that the legend of Sun God Nika is going to end up, are you a naysayer, or are you someone that agrees that it will end up being related to the fishermen and maybe even perhaps this apology that Joyboy had? Do you think it is related to that poneglyph in Fishman Island and maybe just fishermen in general? Are you more so like it's something unrelated? Like where's your mindset with it?
Right. Like my mind with the Nika thing is a bit all over the place, because like obviously we don't know enough about it yet to go to any fixed conclusions yet. But like what I feel like there's like some obvious stuff, right? It's like it would make sense if like Nika had something to do with Joyboy, right? Maybe that's the same person. I feel like the chances that Luffy is in some way or form connected to Nika with all the laughing and, you know, this warrior that brings people together and frees people, like that makes sense that Luffy's in some way or form, not necessarily that he is Nika, but at least in some way or form representing him, right? So there's like a lot of like things like that. We have like stumbled across the Sun God across different islands. The sun and the moon is like, you know, these parallels that are always being played with. So I wouldn't like lean out of the window and like say this is definitely this or that, but I would, like, if I had to bet money, I would probably say that Nika has some, like, is in some way connected to like Joyboy, and in that form also to the Fishman Island and Skypiea and Wano, so on and so forth.
I'm so excited, man. I have to say, to talk to you about this. Because we've talked about this before, actually, on the last collab we did. But when you explained to me your Elbaf theory, I was just like, when you talked about the suns and the moons and things like that and correlating it to One Piece, when this came up, I instantly thought about you, like immediately. I seen that thing and I said, man, I bet Ohara is gonna have some cool stuff to say about this. So,
bro, the funny thing is I was already working on like a new theory. I'm actually like gonna write the script for that today. I was already planning on doing that before the chapter dropped, but it fits really nicely. And so like basically I'm going to talk a bit about like it's again related to the ancient kingdom and stuff like that and the One Piece. and it fit kind of nicely into what I want to say. So I don't want to give too much away, but yeah.
Oh, for sure. I'm excited for that. Make sure when you put that out, bro, you let me know so I can go peep that.
I will let you know. Yes,
because I went back and watched your video on the actual theory that you explained to me, and it was just, not saying that you didn't do a great job explaining it, but it was just so much well put together in the video because you got time to edit it and things like that. And I was just like, oh man, this is a good theory, man. I'm a sucker for theories, bro, and anything. But especially One Piece, because like this is just something that we all love to talk about. So it's like anytime there's like, you can like walk away with a theory and feel like, man, this isn't even a theory at this point. This is fact. this is just canon. You know, you spoiled me. That's kind of how I feel sometimes when I watch these different theories. But do you think,
and then it's even more fun when it turns out to be wrong in the end anyway.
Oh yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, this must be it. But
that's going to happen to us all the time. I mean,
of course.
I can't count on two hands how many times I've been wrong about something. It is what it is. But I guess and the next question I have for you is, do you think it was a coincidence that the Gomu fruit got mentioned in the chapter before this happened? Or do you think that this Gomu fruit is going to end up related to Sun God Nika and maybe even Joyboy, if this is Joyboy? Do you think that the two will be related somehow?
Well, it feels like it, right? As you said, like it's kind of suspicious that it would pop up in like sequential chapters like this.
Right.
Like without anything, and like if I didn't know that Oda would probably, if he had like something special in mind for it, he would probably make it work. Like without that knowledge, I would probably say I'm not the biggest fan of it being something special. Because for me, it was always like something like, like the people who said like, oh, what if Roger had like Luffy's fruit or something?
Yeah,
and I'm like,
sure.
It's kind of, isn't that the cool thing that Luffy has like apparently a pretty wacky fruit and makes it one of the most powerful? So now finding out that it, like there's something special about it, and I'm not sure like if necessarily that has something to do with power, or if there's like just some special attribute to it.
I would like
that's unique.
I would like it, Ohara, and this is just my opinion. Let me know what you think. I would love it to be special, but not combat wise.
Power. Yeah,
I don't want it to be special combat wise.
Kind of like Law's fruit, that it has like a special ability or something.
Yeah, exactly. Like Law has an immortality surgery with his fruit. Like maybe the Gomu fruit can do something special in correlation to freeing people or something in a way. I don't know how that Oda would make it work, but I would love it to be kind of more of a like a mental or like emotional type of power, and not like a physical type of power where it's like, oh, this fruit is special because it's like the ultimate fruit for combat. I don't want it to be one of those situations where it ends up like a Naruto thing, where it's like that whole inherited will thing where it's like, oh, this is the prophecy fruit and everyone that's ate this fruit is meant to be great, and like I don't want it to be something like that.
Well, see, like with Luffy in general, like that's something we talked about as well. I think I talked about that with JD, where it's like I personally don't have a problem with Luffy also like being part of a prophecy or something, because like inherited will has always been a part of One Piece, and the entire rebirth version of like this dude in Naruto that was kind of like suddenly just like pulled out of the ass a little bit. So I don't have a problem with that per se. I just feel like Luffy doesn't need the fruit itself to be special. I think it's enough that Luffy has inherited will. And I'm not sure if like the Gomu fruit needs to be on top of that.
For sure. I think the reason why I don't have an issue with the prophecy per se, and I just don't want it to be like exactly like Naruto, like because I feel like in Naruto, and this is no shot to Naruto, I feel like it was a little different because it was like
definitely shots from that to Naruto for me.
I mean but I mean like it's honest. I'm being honest though. It's like it was literally like you are destined to do everything that you're doing. I feel like it's different in One Piece.
Kind of invalidated.
Yeah.
Sorry, like to jump in, but it kind of devalidated
the hard work thing.
Yeah, it was like the first, everything before Shippuden was kind of like, well, you were destined to become this dude anyway, kind of like, and you had like
exactly. And so I think that's in One Piece is a little bit different because I feel like, and I've said this on some of my other collabs I've done, but I feel like you can inherit someone's ambitions or their will or what their goal was, but you can still be you. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to inherit someone's ambitions, their will, and become them. Like Roger, for instance, could have passed on traits to Shanks or passed on things to Luffy, and they could have been influenced by those things, but they're still Luffy, they're still Shanks. You know what I mean? And I think that's what matters the most to me. So I don't mind if there's a prophecy as long as he's still Luffy at the end of the day.